Hello everybody, we are here today and we are closing out the season preview series today just before the season starts, and we are talking about the Vegas Golden Knights. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel, if you're interested in hockey, whatever it may be. I hope to do this as a full-time career and we'd love to have you here along the way. Now let's talk about Vegas. And the Golden Knights had a little bit of a disappointing year, to say the least. They were title favorites last season, or at least title contenders, I should say, and battled through a large list of setbacks as they went 43-31-8 for a 94-point season, but also were not good enough to make the playoffs, which was the first time in franchise history that was happening, which is not good because that's just been a norm, and they've been able to be a very exciting team in that time. Now they're heading into this season with a mindset to rebound from last season, and we are here wondering, can they get back to the playoffs? We're going to talk about that by the end of the video as I give storylines to follow for this team, as well as my expectations for them. So, the first storyline will be how much Robin Leonard's injury impacts this roster. Vegas was in a spot where they have had Fleury to start out as a franchise, and then they brought in Leonard. You had the dynamic duo, and then Leonard came over or stayed, and then of course Fleury was traded to Chicago. The rest is kind of history there, at least for Vegas. And Leonard has been a good goalie at times, but also now he is out for the season reportedly with a hip injury. He had hip surgery, so he had that fixed. But with goalies especially, where you got to work your hips like that, I would imagine that can be especially problematic for them. And we know now that he is likely missing the whole year, and that's okay because you'd want him to heal up, because who would want their goalie to play through that? Anyway, now we're wondering, could this be problematic for his team? The answer is resoundingly yes if he was healthy and playing well. The Knights are a team that probably would be a little bit more reliant than you'd like for their starting goalie most years to be able to fill in the void, especially since Fleury left, especially there. And now they could really feel the sting of losing him if the guys behind him are not ready to step up. The good news is they do have Logan Thompson as their projected starter, and he played well in 19 games last season. Fairly small sample size, but at the same time, thankfully it's not 3 games or anything like that, and he was able to put up relatively good stats. And if he's able to replicate that, then Knights fans should rejoice, as they would not have to dread the thought of who's going to start in net for the team. And it's also a good thing out of a bad situation for Thompson, because if he is healthy and has a good year while Leonard heals up, you're thinking maybe he kind of steals the starting reins away from the veteran player, as Vegas would love to have a cheap goalie that is young come in and take that starting role, and then maybe you could figure out what you're going to do with Leonard. But all in all, I would say Thompson could be in a position that would succeed, or he would succeed and thrive, as he has a team that put up top 10 numbers in multiple categories, help goalies out, like shots for percentage, meaning good things for attending, because if you are generating more chances in your side or for your favor, then you're probably going to be looking at getting a better opportunity to win games and helping out your goalie. On the flip side though, Leonard is an experienced netminder, and that can very well be a good thing when you have him there. Problem is he's not. So now you have Thompson, who is really green here, as he has some experience, but it's going to come down to him or Laurent Brossoit to fill in or split roles for 82 games. I think Thompson probably will take this role and get more starts. I don't know exactly how it'll work. Could be split. It really depends on who starts off hot early in the year. Vegas is a team that has a lot of expectations, and they are not going to be afraid to go down to the AHL if they had to find a solution in net. Making a trade would be a little bit more difficult because of cap, but I guess we're going to see. As for the other storyline, or the second storyline I should say, we're going to talk about Jack Eichel, and can Jack be that guy for Vegas? The Golden Knights have had a lot of flashy names in their history, in their team's short history, but I think Jack would probably be the biggest name or the most iconic. Fleury, you could probably argue that, but in terms of offensive players, yeah, they've had some guys, but Jack is there. And so getting him was supposed to be seen as a big deal. You traded to get him out of Buffalo, kind of a bad situation there, and he was viewed as a star, second overall pick in the 2015 draft. Might have been 2014. No, it's 2015. But yeah, he is a young player, but is on a long-term deal. You get him, you're thinking, okay, we've got a guy that is coming into this city that has already got a good hockey team. Now we have that star. We have that guy that fans can go to the game and say, yeah, we've got a lot of good players, but I want that guy's jersey. and it kind of had mixed results. He had to have that spinal thing, the disc replacement thing or whatever it was. I cannot remember off the top of my head right now, but he had that and had to heal up, and then he came back and it was either a wrist or a hand injury that he dealt with for the remainder of the season, as he had 25 points in 34 games with the Golden Knights, I believe, and that was not bad. But I think you look at what you expect from Jack and you would know they need him. And I think it was in a do-or-die game that they had to win last season. He didn't put up a shot on goal. He didn't really do much in that game. But like I said, he was battling injuries basically all year. Now he's had some time to heal up. It's time to get after it. And hopefully you get to see the better version of him. He is going to be your top line center. He's going to play a lot of minutes if he's healthy. And he does have something to prove. I don't think that he is a bad player by any means. They traded for him for a reason. But Buffalo really looks like they're in a better spot here if he is going to be paid all that money and then not be that star for the Golden Knights when they need him to be. Because they've got Tuck, they got a first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, and then they got, what is his name? It's not Cody Glass. Is it Cody Glass? No, I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, they got him in that deal, and he looked very good as well. And this is where you're at right now. Vegas looked like they'd win the trade. Here they are now, hoping and praying that Jack can be that superstar for them, because they might need a little bit more offense than usual. Like I said, with Leonard down this year, you have to wonder what's going to go on there. And Eichel really hasn't hit his ceiling in a lot of people's eyes. You look at McDavid and Eichel from their draft class that year, you knew that McDavid was probably going to be the top pick, but a lot of people felt like Eichel wasn't too far behind him. Now we are through a good point of their careers, and while Eichel has been a good player, I think a top 20 player at times in the league, maybe even a little bit higher depending on some things. I'd have to go look through some of that, but I think you would say McDavid has clearly been the much better player. Not to say that you should ever have to compare yourself to Connor McDavid, but when you are the guy taken right after him in the draft and you haven't got to play playoff hockey, and you come over to another team that you kind of really pushed away your old fan base with some things you said, it really makes you wonder exactly where his career's headed. Not to say that he'll be out of Vegas anytime soon, but I do think that he is going to be transformed into this villain. If he isn't already, he is in Buffalo, but I think he's a league-wide villain, and we'll have to see. But I'm hoping for the best for him, that he's healthy, that he's happy, and that he's ready to go and try to help his new team out. As for the final storyline, we are going to be talking about Bruce Cassidy and what he can do for his new team. He, of course, replaces Peter DeBoer, who was the head coach for Vegas and got the boot after they failed to make the postseason. Bruce is a guy that had a lot of success in Boston, played or coached 5.5 years with them, won a President's Trophy, went to the Stanley Cup Final, and then lost in 7 games against the St. Louis Blues. But team regularly made the playoffs. They were a team that could win rounds at times. Of course, they never really went on a big run outside of 2019, but they were a good squad. Now Vegas is hoping to bring him in after they wanted Barry Trotz, didn't get him, but they're hoping to bring in Cassidy and see him kind of rejuvenate this team. Because if you remember at the time, underneath Julien, you had the Bruins that really faltered. They missed the playoffs back-to-back years by a slim margin, and they were not this juggernaut by any means. Cassidy comes in there and he really saves the day, or at least stabilizes things as they get back to winning, get back to making the playoffs regularly, and winning around here or there. Vegas would like that and then some. They don't want to just go into the playoffs and then get beat in the first round, get beat in the second round. They want to win the cup. They haven't got back to the Stanley Cup Final at all since their inaugural season when they made it and lost to the Capitals. And now Bruce is in a spot too where he can kind of say, things didn't work out in Boston. I'm ready to prove them wrong. I'm ready to fill in for this organization that has Stanley Cup aspirations, and I want to see what happens between the two. I kind of worry about what's going to go on here. I think Bruce could do a great job here considering some of the guys they have on this roster, but outside of down the middle, you look at their wingers, you wonder, will it be enough? You wonder if the goaltending issues will be a problem. You wonder if they can get secondary scoring, as they are a top-heavy group. And I have some concerns here, but I do think Bruce is a good head coach. Having said all this, what are my expectations for Vegas this season? Personally, they'll be in the thick of it as long as their goaltending is not absolute dog, but as long as their goaltending is not, a dumpster fire, I think they're going to be all right. The thing is, I think there's other teams. Calgary looks to be a winner for the Pacific. Edmonton looks like they'll probably lock up a top 3 spot in the division. I don't really know who's going to claim that 3 spot, so that is probably up for grabs or a wild card spot. But for Vegas, it's all about getting back because this city is known for being flashy, for being fun. This is not a team that's going to thrive in a market that expects that. They expect to have winners. They expect to have an exciting show. They have come to know that over this short time as a team, and with a possible another season of missing the playoffs, you do wonder if the shine and the love for this squad by the fan base will falter a little bit. I don't know exactly, but if that was the case, if they miss the playoffs again, there would be some big moves here, whether that be above Bruce. I don't think Bruce gets fired in year 1 unless it goes absolutely terrible, but I think it could be above Bruce that this shakeup happens, and then you'd wonder what the trickle-down effect would be. But I do think as long as Thompson does not fall off a cliff, they're going to be all right. They'll be in the thick of it, and they might even grab a playoff spot. They're kind of a dangerous team. Once they got in there, could things happen? Absolutely. All just kind of depends. Eichel, the situation, and that, all that good stuff. Anyway, what are your expectations for the Vegas Golden Knights? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Hey, have a great night, and you go of hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.